I call the Northeast Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. This board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Texas Government Code Section 551.071, private consultation with the board's attorney. 551.072, discussing purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. 551.074, to discuss personnel or to hear complaints against personnel. And the time is 5:31. The board will now reconvene into open session. The time is 6:31. On behalf of the trustees, I would like to welcome you to this evening's meeting of the Northeast ISD School Board. This is a business meeting of the board held in public. We appreciate your attendance and request your respectful attention. We welcome your comments during the matters from the floor section of the agenda. If you signed up to address a specific action agenda item, you will be called at that time. Finally, I would like to remind you that it is the mission of Northeast to challenge and encourage each student to achieve and demonstrate academic excellence, technical skills, and responsible citizenship. Today marks the 16th anniversary where our way of life, our very freedom, came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts on September 11, 2001. Today we remember what happened and reflect on what we were doing at the exact moment when the first hijacked planes were intentionally crashed into the north and south towers of the World Trade Center. We pray for the families and friends of those who lost their lives, who are undoubtedly hurting today. I would like to have a moment of silence on this day of remembrance and mourning for the almost 3,000 people who were killed, including the countless first responders. So now I'd ask that we take a moment of silence. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you. Item 5, Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Nimitz Middle School, Ms. Stolhansky.
My readers. Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, members of the executive staff, and guests, it's a pleasure to introduce two of our outstanding students at Nimitz Middle School. So when I call your name, I want you to stand up here with me, okay? Miguel Tober takes pre-advanced placement courses in English, reading, history, and Algebra 1. He is a model avid student and is currently taking Spanish 1. So when he leaves Nimitz Middle School, he'll be heading to high school with a minimum of 2 required high school credits. In addition to his challenging course load, Miguel is an outstanding Seahawk athlete at Nimitz Middle School. Miguel has been recognized by his teachers as a leader on our campus, but even more importantly, he is seen as a leader by his peers because of what he does every day in the classroom and on the court. Miguel is here tonight with a lot of his family. He's got his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Barrera, his brother Damien, his sister Sophia, his Aunt Kathy, his Aunt Christy, and his cousins Adelaida and Kaylee. We also have Olive Tombo with us tonight. She is one of our outstanding STEM students at Nimitz Middle School. She also is an exceptional student academically with a course load of nothing but pre-AP classes and several required high school credit courses as her electives. She will be entering high school with almost 5 high school credits under her belt. Olive is an incredible artist and is in her 3rd year of digital art, creating some beautiful pieces in her portfolio. Olive also models the type of behavior that we expect from all of our Seahawks, but she stands out for her exemplary behavior and academics. Olive is here tonight with her father, Mr. Jean-Pierre Tombo, and her sisters, her beautiful sisters, Natalie and Annette Tombo, and her former Seahawk, now ISA sophomore sister, Pierrette Tombo, and her mother could not be here tonight due to work. So tonight, Miguel will lead us with the thought for the evening, then Olive Tombo will lead us with the pledge to the American and Texas flags. Would everyone please rise?
For Our World by Maddie Stepanek. We need to stop. Just stop. Stop for a moment before anybody says or does anything that may hurt anyone else. We need to be silent. Just silent. Silence for a moment before we forever lose the blessings of songs that grow in our hearts. We need to notice. Just notice. Notice for a moment before the future slips away into ashes and dust of humility. Stop, be silent, and notice. In so many ways we are the same. Our differences are unique treasures. We are a mosaic of gifts. To nurture, to offer, to accept. We need to be. Just be. Be for a moment. Kind and gentle, innocent and trusting. Like children and lambs. Never judging or vengeful. Now let us pray differently, yet together, before there is no earth, no life, no chance for peace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Olive and Miguel, will you please come forward? We would have a certificate for you, and we would like to take pictures. Mr. Wheat, would you like to go down there with them? Thank you. And that was a wonderful inspiration. Thank you so much, Miguel. That was very fitting, don't you think?
I'll break the camera.
No, you won't. Mm-hmm. And you all may leave if you would like to, because I'm sure you have homework in those pre-AP classes. Thank you again for being here and for your families for being here. We really appreciate it. Item number 6, matters from executive session. A, personnel including but not limited to administrative appointments pursuant to Government Code Section 551.074. 1, possible action regarding routine personnel including but not limited to administrative appointments. No action. Item 2, proposed recommendation for termination of Chapter 21 term contract employee. Do I have a motion to approve as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item 3, introductions. Dr. Gottardy.
Thank you, Madam President, board members, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and pleasure this evening to introduce some new administrators to the school district. And I'll call your name if you'll please stand and remain standing while I read your bio. Miss Martha Reyes, new assistant principal at MacArthur High School. There's Martha. Ms. Reyes joined the Northeast family in 2009. Prior to being an assistant principal at MacArthur, she was an assistant principal at Hill Middle School. Ms. Reyes received a bachelor's degree in political science in 1998 from the University of Texas Pan Am. She earned a master's degree in public administration in 2004 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. Ms. Reyes has 17 years in education. Congratulations. We have a new assistant principal of Madison High School, Melissa Jobson. Melissa joined the Northeast family in 2008. Prior to being named assistant principal of Madison, she was an assistant principal at Driscoll Middle School. Ms. Jobson received a bachelor's degree in elementary ed in '95 from Oklahoma State University. She earned a master's degree in education in 2010 from Concordia University in Texas. And Ms. Jobson has 19 years in education. Congratulations. Another assistant principal at Madison High School, Ms. Sharon Bennett. Ms. Bennett joined the Northeast family in 2006. Prior to being named assistant principal of Madison, she was an assistant principal at Kruger Middle School. Ms. Bennett received a bachelor's degree in communication in 1981 from Bowling Green State University. She earned a master's degree in education in 2014 from Concordia University in Texas. Ms. Bennett has 10 years in education. Congratulations, Sharon. A new assistant principal at Reagan High School, Rodolfo Salinas. Mr. Salinas joined the Northeast family in 2009. Prior to being named assistant principal at Reagan, he was an assistant principal at Driscoll Middle School. Mr. Salinas received a bachelor's degree in kinesiology in 1996 from Texas A&M University in Kingsville. He earned a master's degree in educational administration in 2015 from Concordia University. Mr. Salinas has 20 years in education. Congratulations, Rodolfo. New assistant principal at Garner Middle School, Miss Lori Persine. Ms. Persine joined the Northeast family in 2011. Prior to being named assistant principal at Garner, she was a special education campus coordinator at Tejada Middle School. Ms. Persine received a bachelor's degree in political science in 2002 from Texas A&M University. She earned a master's degree in teacher leadership in 2010 from Lamar University. Ms. Persine has 11 years in education. Congratulations, Lori. New assistant principal of Kruger Middle School, Mr. Mateo Macias. Mr. Macias joined the Northeast family in 2011. Prior to being named assistant principal at Kruger, he was an instructional dean at Roosevelt High School. Mr. Macias received a bachelor's degree in business administration in 2005 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. He earned a master's degree in educational administration in 2015 from Lamar University. Mr. Macias has 9 years in education. Congratulations, Mateo. A new assistant principal of Tex Hill Middle School, Ms. Christina Pelletier Roto. Ms. Pelletier Roto joined the Northeast family in 2001. Prior to being named an assistant principal at Tex Hill Middle School, she was a teacher at Churchill High School. Ms. Pelletier Roto received a bachelor's degree in history in 1999 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. She earned a master's degree in educational administration in 2015 from Lamar University. Ms. Pelletier Roto has 15 years in education. Congratulations, Christina. New assistant principal of Northern Hills Elementary School, Ms. Jennifer Empkin. Ms. Empkin joined the Northeast family in 2011. Prior to being named assistant principal of Northern Hills Elementary School, she was a teacher at Tuscany Heights Elementary School. Ms. Empkin received a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies in 2011 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. She earned a master's degree in educational leadership in 2017 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. Ms. Empkin has 5 years in education. Congratulations, Jennifer. We have a new assistant principal of Almas Elementary School, Rocio Gutierrez Ochoa. Is it Rocio?
No, Rocio.
Rocio, I got it right the first time, okay. So Rocio joined the Northeast family in 2007. Prior to being named the assistant principal of Almas Elementary School, she was an instructional coach at Camelot Elementary. Ms. Gutierrez Ochoa received a bachelor's degree in liberal studies in 2001 from California State University, Northridge. She earned a master's degree in education, curriculum, and instruction in 2011 from the University of Texas at Arlington, and a second master's degree in educational administration in 2017 from Lamar University. Ms. Gutierrez Ochoa has 14 years in education. Congratulations, Rocio. We have a new assistant principal of Roan Forge Elementary School, Ms. Delia Gona. Delia.
Oh, and then
Gauna. I'm gonna call her Delia. Miss Gauna joined the Northeast family in 2008. Prior to being named assistant principal of Roan Forge Elementary School, she was a teacher at Lopez Middle School. Ms. Gauna received a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration in 2001 from Texas State University San Marcos. She earned a master's degree in education in 2014 from Concordia University. Ms. Gauna has 9 years in education. Congratulations. New assistant principal of Walsham Elementary School, Milsimer Perez. Ms. Perez joined the Northeast family in 2015. Prior to being named assistant principal of Walsham Elementary, she was an instructional coach at Walsham Elementary. Ms. Perez received a bachelor's degree in applied learning and development in 2002 from the University of Texas at Austin. She earned a master's degree in education in 2004 from the University of Texas at San Antonio. Ms. Perez has 14 years in education. Congratulations, Ms. Murr. We have a new Senior Director of Technology Support in our Technology Services Department, Mr. Derek Nichols. Derek joined the Northeast family in 1996. Prior to being named the Senior Director of Technology and Library Services, he was the Director of Technology Support. Mr. Nichols received a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, early childhood education in 1995, and earned a master's degree in elementary education in 1996 from Southwest Texas State University. Mr. Nichols has 21 years of experience. Congratulations, Derek. And that concludes our introductions. Thank you, Madam President and board members.
thank you very much, and congratulations to you all. Item B, possible action on the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to Government Code Section 551.072, no action. C, possible action regarding consultation with board's attorney pursuant to Government Code Section 551.071, 1, possible and pending litigation, no action. Item 7, board business. A, possible action regarding candidate nomination for Bear Appraisal District Board of Directors 2018-2019. And that's me. So we need to submit nominees to the chief appraiser and adopt a resolution. Do I need to read the resolution? Okay. The resolution is, each tax unit may nominate up to 5 candidates to serve on the Appraisal District Board of Directors. And whereas we are a voting member of the Bear Appraisal District, we're entitled to nominate up to 5 candidates to serve on the Board of Directors. So I'm going to open this up for nominees for the Appraisal Board. And let's all not talk at one time. Yes?
Has agreed to serve another term.
Okay.
And selected as one of the nominees.
Okay. Do we have a list of, people that are interested, or we're just?
I have never received a list.
Okay. Goodbye. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Go do your homework. Okay, so we can nominate Keith Hughey, who has previously served on this appraisal board for us. Do we have to do more than one? Do we have to nominate more than one? We can just do one.
Is there an advantage to having more than one?
I don't know. Is there an advantage to having more than one nominee for this?
I think we have a certain number of votes.
Yes.
And majority of our votes have traditionally gone to one person. So I don't think we could, if I remember correctly, we don't have enough votes to get two people on the board.
Oh, okay. All of our votes go to get the one person on, okay,
But there are other districts that can usually have more votes
okay,
that could nominate more than one.
okay. So do I have a motion to, or Mr. Wheat, did you have someone that you wanted to nominate?
No, I think Keith has done a good job, and I'd like to nominate him if the board is looking to do that.
Okay.
Especially if there's no reason why we'd have more than one person.
Okay,
Madam Chair, it seems as if in the past we've had enough votes to give to Keith Hughey, who is our nominee, and still had some that we could share with someone else. I don't know whether, is that the case this time?
We no longer have enough votes to elect him on our own because there have been other entities that have been added to the appraisal district
So we need to give our nominee all of our votes.
And then hope that
That would be
somebody
pretty
helps.
close to getting him on, yes. And then I think there are some other districts that have also voted for him in the past too.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question, if we need to,
Yeah,
if we
and
have
the-
votes that we could split.
In the past, we did, but our percentage has dropped now, so.
You want to make the motion?
Before October 30th, the chief appraiser will have us a list from the other school districts who they nominated, who's on the list to serve, and then we vote that way.
okay. All right, so do I have a motion to nominate Keith Hughey to the Bear Appraisal Board?
So move, and then we cast all our votes for him.
Okay, do I,
That'll be in December.
Okay.
We're not doing the votes yet.
um,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. White. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. Any more discussion?
I will be abstaining from the vote.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hughey. Will abstain from the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed. And then in that motion, Mrs. Grona forgot to say, and adopt the attached resolution. So moved.
So moved.
Second. It's a Monday. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. The motion carries. I just want to make sure I did it right and that, you know.
Thank you.
Ms. Grona doesn't want to be in trouble. All right, item 8, new business for possible board action. A, board policy. 1, possible action regarding board policy update 101, second and final reading. Does anybody have any questions about this second reading?
108.
108.
Right.
Board policy 108. If not, do I have a motion to approve the second and final reading of the attached local policies included in update 108 as
So moved.
presented? Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Item B, resolutions. 1, possible action regarding resolution recognizing October 2017 as Principals Month. Dr. Newman.
Thank you, President Grona, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests. At this time, I would like to ask Jane Jensen, our Executive Director for School Administration, to discuss the resolution.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests. It is my pleasure and honor to bring before you this evening a possible action regarding a resolution recognizing October 2017 as Principals Month. Principals Month is an opportunity to celebrate the dedication of our principals who work tirelessly to assure the best learning environments and opportunities are available for their students. We know great schools do not exist apart from great leaders, and that our principals can impact the lives of a few hundred up to a few thousand students during a school year. So in honor of these remarkable school leaders, the proposed resolution states, in recognition of Northeast Independent School District Principals Month, whereas principals are entrusted with our country's most valuable resource, our children, these students are our future, and it is imperative that they receive the most rigorous, well-rounded education the Northeast Independent School District has to offer. And whereas principals are facing many challenges never encountered in previous decades, consequently, principals are expected to wear many hats: educational leaders, disciplinarians, confidant, safety advisor, budget analyst, change agent, community builder, visionary, and many more. Each day, our principals set the educational culture of their schools while collaboratively planning with their staff. Mission statements are crafted, objectives set, and standards maintained as they guide their educational institutions to higher levels of performance. And whereas the National Association of Elementary School Principals and the National Association of Secondary School Principals, joined by their state affiliates, the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association and the Texas Association of Secondary School Principals, have designated the month of October as a time to recognize the contribution of all school principals. And whereas we encourage all stakeholders in the Northeast Independent School District to recognize the important role principals fulfill in ensuring that every child is provided the best 360-degree education possible. And now we are asking you, the Northeast Board of Trustees, to proclaim October 2017 as Principals Month.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. Do I have a motion to approve October 2017 as Principals Month?
We are honored to do that.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you. Are there any principals out here? If so, please stand and be recognized. Yay! I knew you would be here because you're the woman and you just do it all. Thank you for being here. It's a little, you had to be at the Athletic Booster Club, right? Sorry. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Item C, operations. 1, possible action regarding 2015 bond program campus keyless access control and video surveillance camera upgrades, project schematic design approval. Mr. Clary.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests, Mr. Sullivan is at the podium to make this presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Clary. Madam President, it's my honor tonight to present several bond projects. The first one for this evening's review is the safety and security project dealing with keyless access control and video security cameras. This will be the schematic design presentation agenda we're going to follow. I'd like to introduce, this evening we have some representatives from 360 Integrated who's being recommended to you this evening as our design build contractor. We have Mr. Will Duke, president of the company, and Mr. Brian Cox, who's the account executive. Thank you all for being here. 360 Integrated is no stranger to our district. They have worked in the past bond programs providing these services, campus keyless access control and video security camera installations, and we felt based on the long-standing relationship we have with the company and their level of expertise that they would be best suited to be the bond program coordinator for this project. So let me tell you what this project entails. Every campus in the district, all elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, along with the alternative high school, middle school, will receive keyless access control card readers. And then we have 24 campuses that were identified by our facility maintenance department back during the 2015 bond planning period, 15 elementary schools and 9 middle schools that were needed to have additional video security cameras installed. The project will install at the 69 campuses approximately 4 card readers per campus. We're going to work with the campus staff in identifying the exterior doors where they're best suited to be installed that provide the maximum benefit for the campus operation. In all, based on the budget we have, we feel very possible that we can install the 291 readers that you see listed. And the card reader is shown notionally here in this illustration. It's just a face plate that's installed on the wall, and then every district employee has a proxy tag, and when they swipe it across the card reader will grant them access to that doorway. At 24 campuses, we're going to be installing new video security cameras, or we may be replacing some older cameras that have become either outdated or are not functioning properly. It'll be a combination of both. We'll be working with the campus administration and identifying where they feel they need additional security cameras to be installed to provide improved safety and security at their campus. And we anticipate we're going to install 455 digital security cameras in this project. And a picture of the security camera is shown here. It's both for interior and exterior applications. We have a $3.75 million program for this project, which is approximately 7.5% of the entire bond program, and it represents about 37% of the safety and security category 1 of our 2015 bond program. And you can see here how the costs are arrayed. 360 Integrated will be providing both the design services, the construction services, and the contractor management services. And we have reserved a $250,000 contingency to support the project as needed during construction. The contractor's management fees include pre-construction services, general conditions, bonds, insurance, and profit. Our timeline for this project is we'll come back to you next month in October and approve the final project cost for the program. We then anticipate beginning construction in late October, and that will run for 16 months through February of 2019, and that will give the contractor adequate time to install the card readers and the video surveillance cameras at the 69 and/or 24 campuses. So our recommendation for you this evening is, with your approval of the schematic design presentation, we'll move forward with hiring 360 Integrated to install 291 card readers, 455 security cameras with a budget for construction of $3,085,000. We're going to be using the design build construction delivery method, and 360 Integrated is being hired using the TASB buy board. What questions may I answer?
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Sullivan?
No?
Just one question. How do you determine which school? It'll take about 18 months. So where do you get started? How is that determined?
We worked closely with the contractor, Mr. White, and he's put together a preliminary schedule that we're reviewing. The first 24 campuses are going to be those campuses that get both video surveillance cameras as well as card readers.
Okay.
And then we'll go through the rest of the campuses. We're going to do oldest schools first to the newest schools.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Sullivan? Okay, if not, do I have a motion to approve the schematic design presentation for the 2015 Bond Campus Keyless Access Control and Video Surveillance Camera Upgrades Project and authorize 1, full development of project design and construction documents, 2, use of the design build bid delivery method for bidding construction services, and 3, appointment of 360 Integrated as the designated general contractor for this project, providing design build construction services.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. White. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. And thank you, Mr. Duke and Cox, for being here this evening. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. Item 2, possible action regarding 2015 bond program, Churchill High School Phase 6 additions and renovations project bid authorization approval. Mr. Clary.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests, Mr. Sullivan is at the podium to make this presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Clary. Madam President, our second presentation this evening concerns the project in the 2015 bond program scheduled for Churchill High School. This is a construction management risk project, and this is phase 6 of a 7-phase program to rebuild the campus. This is the agenda we're going to follow this evening. Our project design team is led by Garza Bomberger and Associates, and our construction manager, who's already been pre-selected through a previous agenda item, is George General Contractors. I'd like to make a few introductions. The lead architect is Mr. Jose Vidal, and he's assisted by Mr. Andre Simone. And then with us from Joris, we have Mr. Dan Byram, who's a project executive, and Mr. Andrew Shradawal, who is the person who's been leading Joris's pre-construction services and the contractor's budget estimating. So thank you all for being here. This is a aerial photograph of Churchill High School. You can see that some of the 2015 bond work has already been completed, i.e. the new football field and right here, the artificial football field. In this bond project, we're going to be providing a number of new facilities and some renovations. We're going to build a new career and technical education facility. We're going to build 8 new campus science labs that'll complement the 14 labs that were built in a previous bond program, giving them a total complement of 22. We're going to provide a second band rehearsal hall, a second orchestra rehearsal hall. We're going to provide, in addition to the dance locker room, which will give them the mobile storage system. And then we're going to do some renovations in the band, orchestra, and dance facilities. Graphically, what that looks like is the location of the new career and technical education facility and science facility is located along the northern side of the campus, and it replaces the CTE building that's located here on the southern side of the campus that will be replaced with parking once the project, new construction of the building is completed. And this is a rendering that Garza Bomber created that we presented at schematic design that gives you an illustration of the character of the building that we're going to be building. And it has a breezeway that connects it to the existing 2-story adjacent building where the existing science labs are located. Then for the fine arts component of the project, we have the new orchestra addition, which is shown in the bluish color, the renovations in the dance area, and then the renovations in the band area where we're going to take the existing orchestra facility and we're going to renovate it into the second band hall. So those are the major components and where they're located on the campus. We have budgeted for this project $30,515,000. We've now completed the development of the project plans and specifications, and our construction manager, Joris, working in concert with Garza Bomberger, has indicated to the district that currently the estimated cost of construction for this project, when we bid it out, is $26,625,000, or we're over budget by about $625,000, or 2.4%.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you go back one slide? We were just trying to get the placement of the buildings straightened out. Thank you.
All the way, this shows you the career and science, career and technical education and science building. This is the north access road, comes in off of Blanco over here.
So that's going in that parking lot?
It's going to go in that parking lot, and we've already worked with the campus staff. They know there's going to be a parking downgrade, and we're going to be renting parking at the Incredible Pizza across the way for student use and also contractor use.
And then the other 2 buildings? Where's the auditorium?
Auditorium is right,
okay, that's
right here.
okay. So that is
Right there. So there's the band facility, and then you have the auditorium, and then the back of house.
So the original building is still right there, right?
Yes, all we're gonna do is right now, they're in that green building, they're shown notionally in green. On the south side is the band hall, and on the north side is the orchestra hall. The size of the orchestra hall is the size needed for a second band hall, so we're gonna take the orchestra hall and we're gonna repurpose it and renovate it into a new band hall. And in doing so, we need to provide new space for the orchestra that we're gonna take out and the second orchestra facility, which is gonna go in the blue building. So the blue building is gonna have the entire orchestra program, 2 rehearsal halls and support spaces. The green building will have 2 band halls and the support spaces, and then the dance is located in the pink building. And there we're gonna be providing a small addition that'll provide locker rooms for the dancers, as well as mobile storage system for storage use, which is something we started in the previous bond program at our dance facilities. Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so to put this in perspective, if you take the district's budget that we put together back in the spring of 2015, some 2.5 years ago, we estimated $307 per square foot for this project, and the contractor and the design team are currently estimating $314 a square foot, a difference of a little over $7 a square foot, which is the 2% difference. Now, we haven't bid it out yet. When we bid it out, the prices could be higher or lower than what we've estimated, but that's our best estimate forecast based on some very detailed analyses that Joris has done, where they have looked at all of the different divisions of work, the entire project, and broken out in an estimate that's about 30 pages, accounting for every aspect of the work, and they think that's the cost.
I suppose the hurricane could impact this somewhat.
There could be some impact from Hurricane Harvey. When Hurricane Katrina hit, which was about 7 years ago, the biggest impacts were sheetrock and glass. Now, we don't have a lot of sheetrock in our project. We do a lot of masonry. We do have some sheetrock, but it's not the major building component. But we do have a lot of glass. So there is but the glass we're talking about is about 18 months from now. So we're hopeful that the glass impact will be short-lived and it will not impact our project. But if it does, it does.
But what about workers also, though? Won't a lot of them be shifting over to Houston and the coast to work on repairs there?
That's potentially possible, but there's really no way to know. We're getting ready over the next 8 months to bid out north of $200 million, almost a project every week to 10 days. So we'll just hope for the best and we'll move on from there. Now, to put this in a larger perspective, after I talk about the schedule, I'll do that. This just recaps the schedule. The design was intended to be completed in September of 2017, and we're here tonight letting you know the design is finished. We anticipate a 3-month bidding schedule coming back to you in December with our guaranteed maximum price and the subcontractors and costs that are gleaned from the bid evaluation process. And then 24 months of construction starting in December of 2017 and concluding in December of 2019. Now, in terms of the big picture, this slide, which is updated through today, shows all the projects that we have bid so far. And if you look in the bottom right-hand box, we currently have amassed a surplus of $1.859 million on our first 20 projects. The budget was $101.5 million. We have awarded $99.5 million of work, and we have a surplus of $1.859 million. And this does not in any way touch the strategic global contingency of $15 million that is still completely preserved intact. This is on top of that. Now, over the next year or so, and the color coding, let me just explain the color coding. The purple projects are design build. The gray projects were buy board. The terracotta color project is either DOC or JOC, delivery order, construction contract, or job order contract. And the blue projects are our construction manager at risk projects. So the project we're talking about in this presentation is right here. There's the Churchill project right there, where we are currently estimating a shortfall of $625,000. And you can see every other project kind of in bid order, beginning with Regency Place, which is, the bid has concluded. I'll just report to you right now that based on our bid, and we're in the scoping and buyout portion of the bidding, we're about $100,000 north of the budget. But we feel very confident we're going to get the budget by the time we come back to you in October. But I'm currently reporting $100,000. And then continuing on to the bottom of the page, you can see over the next year or so, the projects that are pending the bid, we have a deficit of about $1.76 million that's forecast, which includes the Churchill deficit that I've already briefed. When you add that to the project we've already awarded, I'm projecting we're going to have a contingency balance of about $99,000 on top of the $15 million that has not been touched. So let's just call it $15,100,000 that we'll have in contingency, even though the Churchill project is over budget, because as I've mentioned to you before, my Goldilocks theory. You know, when we do our bond planning, if we do a good job, some of the projects are going to come in over budget. That's a little too hot. Some are going to be under budget. That's a little too cold. And some are going to be just right, and that's the porridge is just right. But if we've done a good job at the end of the bond program, it will all balance itself out, and we're going to finish in the green, as we did in the last bond program. We had a surplus in the 2011 bond of about $1.15 million on $400 million. I'm not anticipating anything different here. But if the hurricane impacts us, we still have the $15 million that is our strategic reserve, and that's exactly what it was there for, to take care of unanticipated things that could impact construction costs, and we were well suited to put that in the bond program and have it kind of like our rainy day fund to help us out for things that we couldn't anticipate. So our recommendation for you this evening is that you approve the release of the bid documents for this project using the construction management risk bid delivery method. Authorize Joris, our construction manager, to solicit bids from subcontractors and suppliers for this project. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Anyone have questions, Mr. Sullivan? Nope. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the release of bid documents for the 2015 bond Churchill High School Phase 6 additions and renovations project using the construction manager at risk bid delivery method, and authorize the construction manager, Joris General Contractors, to solicit subcontractor bids for this project?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hughey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. And I was trying to take notes really quickly. Mr. Bedell, Simone, Byron, and Andrew. I'm sorry I couldn't catch your last name. But thank you all for being here this evening. I appreciate you taking the time to come. Item 3, possible action regarding 2015 bond MacArthur High School Fine Arts Addition and Renovations Project bid authorization approval. Mr. Sullivan. I bypassed you.
Shall I begin?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President. The next project.
Thank you all again.
Thank you all for coming. Good night. The next project we'll be presenting is the MacArthur High School Fine Arts Addition and Renovations Project. Now, this project is significantly smaller than the Churchill project. It's on order of magnitude about a third of the cost that we had budgeted for Churchill. And I'm just going to preface that with the smaller the project, the greater the odds that you're either going to be significantly over budget or significantly under budget. Just kind of a reality of cost estimating. The smaller the project you're working with, sometimes that's the more difficult projects to really get a good handle on. This is the agenda we'll follow for the MacArthur High School bid authorization presentation. Same agenda we followed for Churchill. This project is being led by Lopez Salas, Rocky Lopez, and the construction manager already selected was Marksman General Contractors, and unfortunately I don't see them in the room. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. There's Mr. Boblet from Marksman. Thank you for coming tonight, Mark. You slipped in. Good to see you. This is an aerial view of MacArthur High School, and again you can see some of the fruits of the 2015 bond program already completed. The 2015 bond new football field, artificial turf football field, as well as the 2011 bond project, which included the new science edition, the new JRTC facility, and the athletic edition. And I would just like to say, since we also have another group here tonight that was involved in that project, we have Tom and Mary Ann Guido from Guido Brothers Construction, the executive partners, and they were responsible for that project, which opened for this coming school year in August. So we're very pleased with the fine work that they did on that project. At MacArthur, we're going to be building a new facility addition, which includes orchestra and dance. We're going to be renovating the band and drama areas. We're going to be installing a new freight elevator because MacArthur has a distinction of having the only second floor stage. So it's a difficult stage to be able to access, and they don't have an orchestra pit. So we're installing a large scale freight elevator that's going to help them more easily move sets, props, the grand piano, and other types of things that they need to move up to the stage in an easier fashion than what they currently have to do. And then we'll have various site improvements, landscape, irrigation, drainage, site utilities, and hardscape that go along with the main construction project. This is a schematic site plan, and I'm going to walk you through the components of the project. So we have the new Fine Arts addition in red. So we're adding on to the existing Fine Arts building that was built in the 1995 bond. How about that? It's over 20 years old. We're going to be renovating the area in gold on both floors. The new freight elevator and the new entrance lobby goes here on the west side. And then we have to shift the fire lane to the north towards the athletic addition. I will tell you that we work closely with the Guido team during the latter stages of that project so that we minimize the work that they're doing in their project that's completed and how much we'd have to tear up to do the new project. So we gave a lot of thought to that so that we minimized and accounted for the overlap between these projects. And then finally, on the west side of the campus, we have some additional parking we'll be putting in since we're going to lose some parking over here next to the athletic addition. Those are the main areas of focus for this project. And there is a view looking from the baseball side of the facility back towards the fine arts facility, or from the ROTC facility looking back towards the fine arts facility, so west to east. All right, we budgeted $8.5 million for this project, with the construction account being $7.25 million. Unfortunately, our current cost estimate for the job, as prepared by Marksman and corroborated by the design team, is $8.125 million, or we're over budget about $875K, or 12%. And I'm very sorry that we're over budget by that much, but as I mentioned, it's more difficult when you're budgeting the smaller projects than the larger projects. But be that as it may, that's what it is. And that works out to be about $31 a square foot. Our construction number is based on about $258 a square foot and $289 a square foot for the contractor's estimate. And we have a combination of new construction and renovation work. When you blend those numbers together, the difference between our estimate and the original plan is about $31, which works out to be the $875. Our phasing plan shows that we complete the design in September. We again bid out, coming back to you in December with the subcontractor bids and the GMP. And then we have a 60-month construction schedule to complete the project by April of 2019. And we have some very difficult phasing, which I think is also factored into the cost, where we build a new addition, and then over the summer we're going to move into the new addition and renovate areas, and we have to have those areas renovations completed by the start of the August school year of the next year in order for us to continue with the project and students have a place to be able to do their fine arts. So it's and we're working in very constrained conditions, but it's a difficult project, but we have a great contractor that's helped us work through the phasing plan. Again, if you look at the overall picture, here's the MacArthur project shown here. There's the $875,000 that were over budget, but the good news is, based on my evaluation, the bond program is currently tracking to be $99,000 to the good, And we still have the 15 million, even with your consideration tonight of the over budget 875,000 for this project. So our recommendation is that when you approve the release of the bid documents for this project using the CM at risk bid delivery method, you authorize Marshman General Contractors to solicit subcontractor and supplier bids for the project, which we'll bring back to you at the December board meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions regarding this project? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the release of bid documents for the 2015 bond MacArthur High School Fine Arts Additions and Renovations Project using the construction manager at risk bid delivery method, and authorize the construction manager Marksman General Contractors to solicit subcontractor bids for this project?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wheat. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. White. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And thank you, Mr. Boblet, and to the Guidos for being here. Appreciate it. Next item, 4, possible action regarding 2015 bond Kruger Middle School Phase 2 Campus Replacement Project bid authorization approval. Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam President. Our final presentation this evening is another bid authorization recommendation for the Kruger Middle School Phase 2 Additions Renovation Project. Phase 1 being the new science addition that was built in the 2003 bond program. Phase 2 will build the project components that we're going to talk about this evening. And this is a multi-phase project. We anticipate 2 more phases beyond this bond program to complete the replacement of the Kruger Middle School campus. We'll follow the same agenda for the bid authorization presentation as we did for the Churchill and MacArthur projects. For this project, we have LPA, which is represented tonight by Mr. Lowell Tacker, who is one of the principal partners in the San Antonio office. And we have Guido Brothers Construction Company as our construction manager, and they're represented tonight by Tom and Marianne Guido. Thank you all for being here. This is an aerial photograph of the Kruger Middle School campus. It's one of our oldest middle schools. And the area that the construction is going to occur is going to be out here in this green grass area, but the only area we really have to replace is the tennis courts. And as you recall, when we did our schematic design presentation, we looked at how we might best phase this project, and we looked at an academic phase versus an extracurricular phase. For the Jackson campus, the logical progression was academic phase followed by the extracurricular phase, and for this campus, it was extracurricular phase followed by the academic phase, based on how the site lays out and the best orderly way to go about constructing the project. So this project is going to focus on the extracurricular support program areas, new cafeteria and kitchen, all new fine arts facilities, which includes the 4 program areas, band, orchestra, choir, drama, plus the art rooms. Complete new athletic facilities, new central plant that's sized to anticipate the future growth that will occur in the next 2 phases, in the next future 2 bond programs. New field house with restrooms and storage. A field house being a storage area next to the football field for outdoor sports, as well as bathrooms for public use. 4 new tennis courts to replace those that are in the building footprint, and the various site improvements that are shown there. In terms of the project, here you can see the components. We have the new addition shown here. We have new parking and fire lane access. We have the 4 tennis courts. We have the new central plant, the new field house. They also get some bleachers for the football field. And then we have set ourselves up for the next bond program where we're going to focus on the academic component that's going to wrap around the front of the campus and tie into the new science edition. That'll be the next bond program's main focus. Just a view looking at the new building as you're standing kind of by the central plant looking back towards the northwest. It's a very nice looking facility. We had budgeted for this project $28 million with $24.75 million recommended for construction. We're currently anticipating the project cost based on the construction cost estimate as prepared by our construction manager, Guido Brothers, as well as our design architect, LPA, at $25.5 million or $750,000 over budget, or 3%. And then if you look at that in more detail, that works out to be about $9 a square foot difference between what we estimated back in spring of 2015 and current cost estimates in the fall of 2017. Our schedule, anticipated completion of the design in September of this year. The bidding process, bringing back to you subcontractor bids and the GMP in December of this year. And then we have a 21-month construction schedule beginning in January, running through September of 2019 to build the new facilities. And the Kruger project is shown right here, nestled in between the MacArthur and the Churchill project. And the same comments that we have incorporated these costs into our overall bond program analysis, and we're still showing that we have a $99,000 surplus with a $50 million strategic global reserve on top of that. So our recommendation this evening is to approve the release of the bid documents for this project using the construction manager risk bid delivery method, and authorize our construction manager, Guido Brothers Construction, to solicit subcontractor bids and supplier bids for the project, which we'll bring back to you in December of this year. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Yeah, just real briefly, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Wheat.
I thought I heard you say that the last bond improvements for Kruger were 2003?
That's right. The major improvement was the new science edition.
Okay, so that was 2003. Have there been things since then or not? And I'm sorry to... I'm just seeing if there's been anything major since then. Certainly nothing major, right?
No, nothing major.
They upgraded the auditorium.
Okay.
And we did that with the 2010 Q bond money. We did, she's correct, we did do some auditorium improvements with the 2010 Q bond program.
Okay. And
The 500 hallway.
And as far as, I mean, we've kind of been on a theme tonight where we have bids that are going over on a lot of these. Should we expect that coming forward on additional projects that we have for the bond?
Yes,
Or is this just, okay, so
there's
we
going
should
to be some
expect
that are going to
that?
be over, and there's going to be some that are going to be under.
Okay.
And if
Now,
I've done a good job, it's going to turn out just like I presented to you.
and I'm sure you've done a good job. I'm just wondering if there's a theme that we're seeing here that's beyond just sort of the estimates that we could do in 2015. Is there not that theme, or is it just that we're waiting to see where things go?
Could you restate that question?
Sure, sure. I'm just seeing if it's a more common theme, if it's a theme where we think like we're gonna really dip into the $15 million contingency fund, or if you believe that we've bid it out right and it will go back and forth and we would still have money to use if we need to later on.
I think that the vast majority of the 15 million is going to be intact when we get to the end of the bond program. It may not be exactly 15 million, but it's going to be the majority of it.
Thank you.
That's the right answer.
Yes, thank you, Madam President.
All right, any other questions? I have to give you a little bit of a hard time.
That's okay.
That's what I do. No other questions?
No.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the release of bid documents for the 2015 bond Kruger Middle School Phase 2 campus replacement project using the construction manager at risk bid delivery method, and authorize the construction manager, Guido Brothers Construction Company, to solicit subcontractor bids for this project?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. White. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Lowell and the Guidos again for being here. Appreciate it, Mr. and Mrs. Guido.
Ms. Grona, I would like to point out that there are 2 bond projects that are in the consent agenda that we're not presenting because they're under budget. See, we don't present under budget projects, we just present the over budget projects. That's just how it is.
So perhaps next time you put them up here and then we can say, oh, good job. Good job, Mr. Sullivan. I appreciate it.
I'm just pointing out the Goldilocks principle, that there's some that are over and some that are under, and it just, that's how it works.
Do you notice the color of my hair?
I do.
All right, thank you for.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. All right, item D, consent. 1, business services. A, waiver of penalties and interest. B, budget amendment number 1. C, donations. D, over 50,000 purchases. E, bid items. 2, operations. A, 2015 bond BAC Tennis Center Courts expansion and facility upgrades, project bid authorization approval. B, 2015 bond Jackson Middle School Phase 2 campus replacement bid package 2, new classroom addition facility project bid authorization approval. C, professional services contracts, construction contracts, and related contract amendments supporting the 2015 bond design and construction requirements. 3, minutes from August 2017. 4, end of consent. Do I have a board member that wishes to pull an item from consent? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hughey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Item 9, reports. A, financial statement review of expenditures. That's been provided to you. B, awarded bid report. That has been provided to you. 10, matters from the floor. The trustees welcome comments from members of the public during this time of the meeting. Generally, board members do not respond to public comments during the meeting, although members may request further information or a future agenda item on a matter raised during public comment. As explained fully in the board's written procedures for this time, the matters from the floor portion is a limited public forum. Accordingly, speakers may present on a topic related to district business for up to 3 minutes, but are not permitted to make 1, personal complaints about an individual staff or board member that should be raised during using the district's grievance policies. 2, a personnel action. 3, a student disciplinary matter. 4, a complaint about a particular student. 5, or pending litigation. Any person who persists in speaking on these topics after being directed not to do so will lose the remainder of their time to speak and may lose their privilege of addressing the board at future meetings. We also welcome written comments at any time, either through email at board@neisd.net or by mail, care of the Superintendent's Office at 8961 Tesoro Drive, 6th floor, San Antonio, Texas, 78217. Mrs. Hughey.
Greg Link.
Thank you for letting me speak. I want to let you know that my daughter attended school here.
Mr. Link, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could you
Sure.
please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Greg Link. I'm here in reference to the name, Robert E. Lee. My daughter went to school here a little over 10 years ago, and it's probably the best high school Robert E. Lee is in the entire city, and I mean that. And we continue to attend all of the functions that we can, and we're very proud of it. She graduated with honors, and we love the high school. I will make this very brief. I really appreciate your decision. I think it was the right one to commit to changing the name, and I'm very proud of you, very much so. You're doing the right thing. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Roberta Smith.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Roberta McEwen Smith. I'm a second generation Robert Lee volunteer, class of 1981. I live at 236 Spanish Oak Lane, Center Point, Texas. Let me go ahead and do this, and if you feel that I need to cut this at any point in time, please feel free. The reason I wanted to do this tonight is not directly related to the name change in my alma mater, but I do have a letter that was written by several current and former students, teachers at Lee High School, who were concerned about the way that the school is being run. And I believe that all of y'all had received this back in May, as I said. And it just kind of bothered me that maybe this was not addressed. I don't know if y'all read it or not. As I said, if you need to stop me, I'm going to redact the names. So here it goes. Anyway, to whom it may, this was written May 22nd, to whom it may concern. I'm writing this letter because I'm a teacher at Lee High School and I'm concerned with what's been going on here at our campus. Been here now for over 12 years and I've never seen this much chaos or loss of control as I have this year. The campus has always been proud, spirited, and the students have always been respectful. Since we've had our principal, however, all that's changed. First of all, we've lost at least a dozen excellent teachers and administrators because of the way we are treated. Apparently she was rude, absolutely no problem reprimanding teachers in front of the names, in front of other students or teachers. She's mean and sensitive and doesn't even know
I'm
their
going to
names.
have to stop you, I think.
Okay. And as I said, that is just something that the teachers felt that their concerns were not being addressed. And they don't feel safe at the school because of the way some teachers have physically pushed teachers in the halls. The students haven't been reprimanded. And as I said, this is something that when I was going to school at Lee, we never did that. And that was never tolerated or even remotely.
Okay.
And as I said, that's just something I felt I wanted to address because I think that the name on the school, the way that the teachers are being, that they don't feel safe at school. And it's not because of the name on the school.
Okay.
It's because of how the environment is at the school.
Okay. Thank you.
Iona McGinty.
Okay. My name is Ione McGinty. I live at 344 Townview, and I have been an NEISD taxpayer for the past 25 years. And first off, I'd like to call the board and I'd like to ask them to provide proof to the taxpayers that Sandy Wolf met the residency requirements or invalidate her motions and votes since May 2016 when it was she moved out of her home in Castle Hills, and since that time there is not a public record of her residency. So I'd like to ask the board to please provide the taxpayers with proof that she is indeed met the residency requirement. Okay, I live on a fixed income, very tight, and I always watch my property taxes, and 2 years ago I noticed a 68% increase in my land value. And through speaking with some others, what I found is that the school boards go to the controller and then they ask the appraisal board to raise the values to increase revenues. And I believe this is correct, that the schools already take 30% of TxDOT's budget. That's what a friend of mine at TxDOT said. So as someone who has to live on a very tight budget, I do not think that the issue is lack of funds, but financial mismanagement. I think we saw here tonight that schools are big business. I attended the meeting May 29th, where it was stated that the district is operating in a deficit and they could not even afford to give the teachers a pay raise. I was very surprised when Ms. Wolf mentioned that she listened to the students about changing the name of Robert E. Lee High School. She didn't listen to the taxpayers, but to the students who do not pay taxes and who are not even old enough to vote. The student committee, in my opinion, the student committee for change should simply have been told, I'm sorry, but we simply do not have money for that. I believe that these students suffer from what historian Shelby Foote calls misidentification. They are assigning ill feelings towards the wrong thing. Do these students not know that blacks own slaves too? Do they not know that Robert E. Lee did not even own slaves, and that his wife taught blacks how to read, which was against the law at the time, which I think that he's a very good example. And I find that their objections to the name are very disingenuous, as I know some of these students have participated in fundraising for Margaret Sanger's business of eradicating the black race. And Mr. Jaso had suggested
I'm sorry, but your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to say that one more thing, because I was told I had 5 minutes.
3 minutes according to our policy.
Okay. So the last thing, you'll have to forgive me, is We pay, the taxpayers
I'm sorry, but your
pay
time is up.
to have a police there.
And that's all for public comment.
Okay, thank you. Item 11, discussion and possible action regarding board members' requests for items to be placed on a future agenda and/or requests for reports from the administration. Do I have a board member who requests an item? Okay, item 12, adjournment, and the time is 7:45.